If you're waking up sluggish, you're waking up not feeling like you're ready for the day, this episode is going to get you on the right track. It's going to make sure that you have a foolproof routine to have a successful morning. I'm Rickey Jasper, and this is the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. After getting laid off 2 times in 6 months, I realized I had to be chasing a greater vision in my life. I had to be walking into my calling. I spent time building up a successful fitness apparel business, and then now stepping back in front of camera to talk, to speak more, to hopefully inspire you to chase a greater vision in your life. And my goal with this podcast is for us to do it together. So let's make it happen. What's going on? I'm Rickey Jasper. Welcome back to the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. I am so excited to do this episode. I love waking up early. I have so much energy in the morning. We are shooting this in the morning. This episode drops in the morning. And what I want to talk to you about today is practical ways to start your day so that it's successful, so that you are relatively unbothered with what comes at you throughout the day. The way that you start your day is the way that you set the tone for your day. My brother says that all the time. He says, win the morning, win the day. And I find that so true, because if you can do something and get yourself moving in the right direction in the morning, you will feel so much better. You will feel so much more accomplished. Why? Because you will accomplish more. And so the morning is where we are going to fight. The morning is where we are going to win today. So our first segment is our head and heart hits segment. This segment, something that hit me in the head, made me think, something that hit me in the heart made me feel a certain way. And this could be something from a video, something from something I saw on social media, a quote, a video, anything like that. So today's head and heart hit quote, I don't know the author, but it says, your mind doesn't wander. It moves forward towards what it finds most interesting. To improve focus, become curious about what's in front of you. So where that hit me in the head was the first line, your mind doesn't wander, it moves towards what it finds most interesting. And I thought about that and I was like, man, like that's probably true. There's areas where I have moved towards, pessimistic thoughts because that's what was most interesting. It's like, what's the problem? How can I fix it, or how can I overthink it? That's a more interesting thing than focusing on being happy, focusing on living in the moment, right? Where it hit me in the heart was, I was like, man, okay, well, then maybe I should find some other things more interesting that are better for my life, that are better for my day, that help me move the needle forward in a better direction. And then my mind will wander or to that if it wanders. And then also to improve my focus, I just need to be curious about what's in front of you. Now, what are we putting in front of us? Is it always social media? Is it always negative things? Is it always porn? Is it all, and I'm speaking to mostly my guys for that one. Is it always, comparing ourselves to others? Is it our lack of work ethic that's in front of us? Is it our excuses that's are in front of us? What are we focusing on? And let's find our focus so that we can become more curious about it. And where this is all going to tie together is when we go into our day, there's areas that we want to be more efficient at. There's areas that we want to feel relatively unbothered with things that come our way. There's areas that we want to feel and be successful at, but we have to have a better morning routine. So we're going to work on that today. So our tips and tricks for today, these are 5 tips to improve your morning routine that will help you have a more successful day. Number 1, set your intentions the night before. So this is relating back to our head and heart hit. Improve your focus. What are you going to focus on for the next day? Whatever you're going to focus on for the next day, that should be your intention. Whatever your intentions are, that should be how you are setting up your night, right? So if you set up your night to integrate with your intentions and focus the next day, you're going to have a better day. For me personally, I live and die by a to-do list. I write my to-do list at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. the day before. So after my workday is done, I look at all of the tasks that I might not have gotten to, or I look at all the tasks that I need to get to for the next day. I set my schedule, my Google Calendar for the next day. I make sure times are blocked off for meetings and everything. I set my to-do list for the next day. So when I come and sit down in this office, I know exactly what my intentions are and where I need to be. There's not a whole lot of wasted time during the day. There's not a whole lot of thinking time of, oh, okay, how am I going to get to this? What am I going to do? Because when that happens for me, especially in the past, I would stress out. And if I have not planned and I have set no intentions, it's very easy to just scroll. It's very easy to do a lot of mindless things that, up my dopamine really quickly just to make myself feel better because I am not focused on what I need to focus on. So make sure that you are really setting your intentions the night before. Number 2, put your life jacket on first. I love this one. If you're getting up in the morning and you're going to social media or you're going to your phone, you're not putting your life jacket on. If you're getting up in the morning and you aren't focusing on yourself in some capacity, and now mind you, I preface this with, I don't have kids. So there are extenuating circumstances. So, this point could be subject to change in a few years, very much so. But I just mean that when you wake up in the morning, there has to be something that you do for you that allows you to put your life jacket on. When we fly, I always say, hey, put your mask on before you assist others. Find the things that allow you to put your life jacket on before you are so entrenched in everybody else's lives or everybody else's things that just you forget that you're a person as well. I wake up extremely early in the morning. Anywhere from 4:45 to 5 o'clock is when I'm getting up usually because it's quiet. No one's texting me. No one's emailing me. I'm now on Central Time. And, a lot of the work that I do is working with, people on Pacific Time. So that's 2:45 for them. I know that they're not up and moving at that time. And it's quiet. And I can read. I can do my daily devotion. I can stretch. I can have my pre-workout meal. I can work out. I can, have time with the dogs. I can, Carly and I make breakfast together and sit down and enjoy each other before we really go and get into our work days. So those are the things that I can do where I'm putting my life vest on before I'm just getting entrenched with everybody else's stuff. Everybody else's stuff is important, but it's not more important than me taking care of me first. You've got to put your life jacket first on. You have to do what you need to do for yourself before entertaining other people. Number 3, limit easy dopamine. This I've kind of talked about a little bit in point 2. There was a time where I'd wake up in the morning, this is probably 5 years ago, and this is when social was really popping off for me from a fitness standpoint, and it'd be like hundreds of followers overnight, and I would see, oh my gosh, I have all these new followers, I have all these girls in my DMs and all this stuff, like it's going to be a great day, and I would be like, well, I have really no true friends here that if I got sick or anything, I could call and they would help out. But I had this false sense of security, this easy dopamine hits, right? And what I would do is then I just be on my phone the whole time. And then after, an hour, I'm like, oh, I'm so low energy and I need to get to work. I need to do the things that I need to do. And I'd be like, well, this seems so much better than doing and taking care of what I need to take care of, that I would just kind of be in this rabbit hole and just kind of floating. And I would kind of work hard, but I'd just kind of be floating until like gym time around like 3:30. And then I'm like, okay, I'd hit the gym, I'd go home, make dinner, and I'm watching TV the rest of the night, And so what that did was it really kind of messed with me. It made me a lazier person. So when you're able to limit the easy dopamine first thing in the morning, you're able to limit the social media, the email, the TV, any sort of bad habits or addictions or whatever that you have. You limit those things or you eliminate them. What you do is you're able to put yourself first. You're able to figure out with all of that time that you now have what you need to one, put your life jacket on, but then 2, to increase your energy levels for the things that are important. Why I say limiting easy dopamine is because it's not helping you with anything that you need to do that is important. It's distracting you and it's making you feel tired. What we need to harness energy in the morning so that we can use it throughout the day so that we can exert our force and our will on the things that we want to improve on. So that's what I mean by limiting the dopamine. That's the reason for limiting that dopamine. We are going to do that so we can have energy to improve our day. Number 4, get a workout or get moving in some capacity. I love this. Now, if you are not a morning workout person, that's fine. I have a lot of friends who are like, by 9 p.m., I can work out because it's the same thing as in the morning. Nobody's emailing, nobody's texting, nobody's calling. So I completely, that's fine too. But you want to at least get moving in some capacity. When you get moving, it changes your physical state. I remember, about 5 years ago, I was kind of going through something and it just didn't feel good. And I remember I would never really get up in the morning. I would just lay in bed and I talked to a buddy of mine and he was like, and I was telling him, I was like, man, it's just harder and harder. Every day is harder and harder. And he was like, man, I went through something pretty bad. What you can't do is you can't sit in it because the more you sit in it, the deeper the hole gets, the harder it is for you to climb out. And that hit me that day. I was like, man, that really hits me. So what I did was, I was like, the next day I was like, let me just get up and get moving. Let me just walk on the treadmill. Then the next week it was like, okay, now I'm getting back in the gym. Now I'm really, having a choice to do these things or I'm choosing to do the right things. So when you get up and get moving, you're choosing to change your state, because if you're just laying in bed, you're just laying on the couch, you're just not really doing anything. I don't know what type of energy you're going to harness to really go and attack your day and really get after it by just sitting and doing nothing. And again, working out and getting moving, it doesn't mean it's a hard workout. It might just be getting up and going and making a cup of coffee because you've just been laying in bed all day. But make sure you are making some type of physical action with your body. That's going to change your mentality. It has to change your mentality. To get up out of bed, to start walking, to start moving, you have to change your entire routine. You got to put on different clothes. You have to put on shoes. You have to change the rooms that you're in. You have to change. It forces you to change so many things. And then after you've done that, it helps because you're like, well, I'm already doing the healthy things. I'm already doing the healthy habits. Well, why don't I just continue them throughout the day? So it does more than just what you think in the immediate. It transfers so much to the rest of the day. When I have great workouts in the morning, and the reason why, I don't just show up to things, I really go and I try to just exert my will against things, right? Especially when I work out. I would say it's less about the workout. It's more about how I'm going to go after the rest of the day. Well, I already worked extremely hard. I already did this thing. Well, why do I want to just eat like crap and just like ruin my hard work? Why do I want to now go to work and go into meetings and my tasks and really not work hard on those things? No, I've set the tone with how I've changed my state in the morning with the work ethic that I put into my workout. So I'm going to do that same thing, and that energy is going to flow through every task because I've set the standard by the way in which I move my body, by the way in which I act. So that's why I say acting in movement is so important. And number 5, check your thinking. In the morning for me, now I don't know if this is for everybody because I'm not in the minds of everybody. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or anything like that. No licensed professional in the mental space. But I can tell you that I've lived in my body for 32 years and I've thought about my thinking for as long as I can remember that I was thinking. So check your thinking. In the morning, we get these automatic thoughts. I say I'm talking to me because maybe you don't get them. I get these automatic thoughts where it's like at night, I go to bed, I wake up, and it's like a rush of just everything that might have been stressful comes into my head. And then I'll just run with it. And then I'm like, okay, 10 minutes later, I'm like, why am I so tired? What? And it's like, well, I've been thinking and mulling over these like a problem or an issue or something that I don't like the way that it's going at work or whatever it is. And now I'm tired, but I've never checked my thinking. I have not sat back and said, let me be present. This isn't focused. This isn't the priority right now. Why am I focused on this? Before this episode was filmed, Mason, who is producing this podcast, who's behind the camera right now, we went out, hopped in my car to go hit a workout that he was filming and everything, and my car wouldn't start. And I was like, dang, this sucks. Before we stepped in here to podcast, that's all my mind was thinking of. Well, move to Texas, got to change my plates, got to do this, got to do that. Now the car doesn't start and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, maybe do I start like looking that stuff up now so I can get AAA out here? Do I call them now? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I have a job to do over here. I got to get in front of camera and focus on these things. This is what I have to do. And it took me about 5 minutes to check my thinking and be like, no. The main thing is the main thing. What I have to do now in this block of time is I got to come and sit in this office and in this podcast studio and give Chasing Greater Vision the best effort and not just show up, because this is what matters. I'll take care of that later. I checked my thinking at the door before I stepped in here, and I made a decision. This is what I'm going to focus on. This is the direction that I'm going to go, and this is the action that I'm going to take. When you check your thinking, you give yourself the ability to choose to do that. And that is such an important thing, because if you don't check your thinking, you're just kind of going down a rabbit hole, and then you're in the middle. So let's play that scenario over again. If I then am trying to Google and look and trying to make calls and stuff like that, then I'm not doing the preparation that I need to for this podcast. And then when Mace says, hey, camera's rolling, now I'm in front of camera and I'm not really prepared. Well, I haven't fixed the car problem, and I'm definitely not prepared for the podcast. So nothing works out. Where I check my thinking is I focus on what I need to do. I handle this. And then whenever I can handle that other issue, when I'm doing that, I handle that with 100%. So in recap, to set your day up for extreme success, to set your day up for feeling relatively unbothered, some things will bother us. We are human. To recap all of this, number one, set your intentions the night before. Going into the day, how are you going to be prepared? Number two, put your life jacket on first. You can't help others unless you adequately help yourself. Find the things that you need to do to get energized for yourself before you give so much to everybody else and everything else. Number three, limit easy dopamine hits. TV, text, calls, social media, emails, all of this stuff can drain us if we jump in it too fast. That is not the main thing, the first thing that you wake up in the morning. Number four, get a workout or get active. When you change your state, when you feel different and you move different, it's going to set your tone for how you step through and how you act in every other aspect of your day. It's going to establish healthier habits in every other aspect of your day. And number five, check your thinking. We have automatic thoughts. I have automatic thoughts that happen. A lot of times it's probably like, oh, let's just mull over all these negative things so we can fix them to help keep me safe. But that's not always the best thing to sit and stay in. Focus on the positive things, focus on the things right in front of you, and then handle those other negative things when they need to be handled and if they even need to be handled. So the last segment is our word of the day or word of the week, whatever you want to stretch this word to. It's kind of two words, and I love it. Life jacket. The reason why it's life jacket is because this episode and the morning routine, it's a morning routine for you. It's for you. It's for you to do. So for you, you have to wake up in the morning and put your life jacket on. When you're putting your life jacket on, you're preserving your life so you can go through and so you can stay above water when the tides rise, when things come against you throughout the day, and when you have stressful days and everything. When you put your life jacket on, you're focusing on areas that are going to help you. You're focused on areas that you can improve upon. You're focused on yourself and being selfish with your time in the morning. And that's okay, because then when you need to be unselfish, you can be so much better at being unselfish by helping other people because you've taken care of yourself first. If you've ever seen somebody who's not taking care of themselves first, and they're just running around like a chicken with their head cut off, helping everybody else, and they seem stressed and hectic, and by the time they go to bed, it's like they're just drained. They're just giving so much of themselves without giving anything to themselves. So put your life jacket on first. Your morning routine is going to be the thing that helps you not only win the morning, it's going to help you win the day. I'm quoting my brother with that. It's going to be the thing that sets your tone and pushes you towards success throughout the day and helps you be more successful, feel better, feel less bothered when things happen. I do this on a consistent basis. I hope that this helps you. I hope that we can continue to do this together. If these things helped you, please let me know. I love to hear about that. If you have extra tips, throw them in the comment section. I think that a morning routine is so important and it's so vital to your day, because our days encompass so many important things and you don't want to miss them. because you just haven't established a morning routine. So I hope that this podcast helps you, and I will see you next time. Peace. Thank you all so much for watching the Chasing a Greater Vision podcast. If you like this podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, send it to friends, use a carrier pigeon, do whatever you have to do. We hope that this inspires you to chase your greater vision in your life and for us to continually and consistently do it together.